Hey everybody, in this video, we're gonna talk to you about using your launch monitor, whatever launch monitor you got, and showing you my 5 favorite things that you can do with that tech. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here in the Learning Center again. Gonna go over my 5 favorite things that I like to do with my launch monitor. This is any launch monitor that you can have that I like to do that helps me get better at golf or helps my students get better. We wanna go over those today. As always, if you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and leave us some comments down below. What are some things that you do with your launch monitor that you like? Give some other people some ideas. I'd love to share those and help people out when they make these investments and get this technology. So with that, let's get into my 5. Let's not waste any time. So number 5, favorite thing to do with the launch monitor, that is play golf. We're here, we're indoors, you're in the winter up here in the north, or if you're down in the super heat in the summer and you're not wanting to get out and play, or I know people that they live in good climates, but they just can't play because of their hours. They come home at night, especially in the wintertime in those southern climates. It's getting dark at 5:30, so after work, that's not an option. Get on your launch monitor, play some golf. The amount of golf you can play and practice where you're just hitting different shots, you know, you hit a drive, then you hit an iron, then you hit a wedge, then you hit a short game shot, then you hit a putt. I mean, that is so helpful. That is so helpful for you to start working on strategies, working on how do you go through a routine, how do you plan out a shot. All these things that you need to be able to do when you get out on the golf course, and you get to do this from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to pay any extra money other than the subscriptions, but it's not like you're going out and paying $50, $60 for a round of golf and you just got to make sure you can use it. Here you can play 3 holes, 4 holes, 1 hole, and you get to practice some of this stuff. You get to practice different strategies. Hey, I want to go and hit at every green in the middle. Again, stuff that as a coach we will do, but people don't like to try it on their own when they have to go out and shell out the money for a greens fee. You're out there in the heat, you're out there with buddies, and you're just trying to go out and play and enjoy the game. You're not trying to work on things usually when you're in that situation. So number 5, we want to get out there, we want to play some golf. Number 4, testing equipment. Getting a feel for what equipment works for you. How does the equipment make a difference in your game? So one of my favorite things is to actually test golf balls, because I like to see what the golf ball is going to do for you. Now, we just did a test of the TaylorMade Tour Response. We're gonna post that later. But an example of doing a equipment test was with the ball. We also did a ball test way back when we had a GC2. We've done it with Skytraks. Not really took that one seriously, but the GC2 we definitely were looking at, and getting a feel for what we're looking at in terms of spin rates, launch angles, ball speeds. All of those things are interesting to see what you can do. And if you've got golf shafts, what can you do as far as how is that ball launching? How is your dispersion getting tighter? Is your spin rate staying more consistent, or is it getting more variable? All of these great things you can do with a launch monitor. So you're not just eyeballing what's going on. You actually have some hard data and something that you can take out and use when you're out there on the course. All right, number 3 here. This one's gonna kind of sound obvious, but we're gonna explain it and then we'll actually go over it a little bit more later, is hitting golf balls. My number 3 favorite thing to do is hit golf balls when you are not hitting the ball very well. If I'm out there on the range, let's say my swing isn't feeling very good, I don't like to go to the range and hit shots at like random targets because I don't know what's going on. I don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's making my swing not feel very good. So I like to get back inside, get on a launch monitor, start looking at some numbers. Hey, how's my angle of attack? How is my spin rates? How's my launch angle? Am I starting it right or left? All of these things that I would like to see as we're going through. Now, I think it's really important maybe to pair this up with a camera. I usually throw a live view in there because it's a little easier to work with for me to see the swings. But again, if you have like a Mevo Plus or a Trackman, those launch monitors, or an X3, those launch monitors are going to have that video capability with it. So I try to pair up when I'm swinging not so well, take a little video and see what I'm going to be able to do. This is something I think you can do. If you're not hitting it very well, get inside, get on a launch monitor, check out those numbers. You're gonna start spotting some discrepancies of where, hey, things might be going a little haywire. I think this is a good time to mention if you're not sure what you're looking at. This is where the help of a coach can come into play. Make sure you find somebody that can help you. And if you need help, we have our online academy. That's the beauty of these launch monitors. You can take screenshots, send this data along, and it can be analyzed by somebody knows. So throwing it out there, we have a great online academy, had some great results, something you might be interested in. Anyway, back to the countdown. Number 2 favorite thing, probably one that I think people most associate with getting a launch monitor. That is going to be yardage gapping. And I'm gonna pair that with doing some dispersion testing, all right? Now dispersions, if you haven't hit on a launch monitor, or if you're new, when you hit a group of shots, your launch monitor is typically going to give you some sort of chart or way to look at it, and what you get is this circle that they basically group all your shots into. Great way to practice, first off, trying to get that dispersion circle down. That's gonna come into play with left and right, but also just knowing how far your golf ball goes, because the tighter that gets, you know, that means you're hitting your number a little bit better. But the other thing I like when you do this is you have a better way to plan strategies. You know, hey, if I have to hit the ball a little bit long, okay, what's kind of the max I can push a golf club? What's the minimum I can push the golf club? And then what's kind of my stock shot with that club? You always hear when we're talking on TV golf or when the caddies are talking, there's always talk about where the ball can end up as long as it's in a safe spot. You know, they're trying to put the ball in those areas. They obviously try to hit it close as well, but they have this plan of where the ball can end up so they don't make a big number. That all comes from their practice working on yardages and understanding what that dispersion is. Not every shot's gonna go straight down the target line. Where do most of them end up in relation to that target line is really critical information, and that one that I think people should pay attention to more and see what they can do. And my number 1 favorite thing to do when you're on a launch monitor, all right? When you're on a launch monitor, get on it when you are swinging well, okay? When you are swinging well, what do I see people do? They avoid going and hitting balls on a launch monitor. They go out to a range maybe, but they go play. And that's great, you wanna play and when you're swinging well, but get on a launch monitor too. Why do you wanna do that? You're not gonna necessarily make any changes, but if I'm swinging well, I feel like I'm hitting it good and I've got good control of how I wanna launch the ball, I want those numbers, I wanna save them, I want to know what is going on when I'm hitting it good. If we go back to reason 3, when we are not hitting the ball well, it helps to be on a launch monitor if you have numbers when you are hitting it well. Saving your sessions, whether you do it in a notebook, do it in a phone note, use Coach Now app, something like that, or just use the software that comes in the launch monitors. Most of them have this available. You are going to want that data because when you're not hitting it well, you want to compare to something. Now you could always compare to like tour pros and stuff, but they are way different than us typically, and I'd rather know what the numbers look like when I am swinging what I feel like is under control, the ball's going what I think is the right distance, and when I feel like I am getting the direction I want. All of those things, and you can go there. A key point when you do this is I wouldn't necessarily worry about what the numbers are, okay? If you have a unit, if you have a machine, the most important thing to remember about having a launch monitor is that it usually is going to read the same way, whatever it reads, okay? When I had an X2, that unit would read a golf ball at a little bit flatter, and it would read it with a little bit less spin when I had it on its range mode and I was outside on the range. Just the way it was, okay? It's just like a GC quad, they find has a draw bias, 1.5 degrees. That's fairly significant, but you just know it, right? You know it, so when you go back and compare those numbers and you're hitting it, all right, sweet, when I'm hitting it really well, this is what those numbers look like according to this machine and how it reads. When I'm not hitting it well and these numbers start straying from that, just get back to those numbers. Get back to those numbers, and Get to where the ball flight is. Don't try to hit perfect numbers. Don't go for like, oh, I have to have a 2 face angle right and a path 4 right because I need that push draw. It's like, no, just get what's perfect for you and then know it. If you do that, you are going to be in so much control of your game, and if you do get off, which we all know happens, you're gonna get back to it so much faster. All right, so if I'm swinging well, I'm getting in that day or the next day, hitting some balls, recording that session, seeing what I've got. I'm gonna take a look at those numbers. A little bonus tip that we got with you on the launch monitor that goes with when you're swinging well. What I like to do is push what you can do. Make different things happen. If I'm swinging well, make a different shot happen. See what you can do to influence the numbers. You have a great starting point and you know how to get back to it. So I'm going to test out a little bit. Hey, what if I want to hit one that launches a little higher, one that launches a little lower, one that spins a little right, one that spins a little left. Start using that launch monitor to understand how these things work. Again, you're hitting in your home, you're not at the range, you didn't go out and buy this bucket. You have this investment sitting right there. You can have all of this effort and time to put into just seeing what you can do to control the ball. A very, very good thing to do if you have a launch monitor. That would be a little bonus, what I like to do and have people do when they're trying to improve their golf games. All right, so that is our 5 things, my 5 things, my top 5 that I like to do with a launch monitor. Hopefully this helps. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Again, lots of things you can do. Let us know what your favorites are, whether it's some of the skills apps or any drills that you try to do. Let us know in the comments down below. And if you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.